What's up, nerds? Comic-Con energy is still leaking into the streets as Marvel has just crowned David Johnson the new Black Panther. With social media being split between iconic casting choice too, I've got thoughts.
And over at OpenAI, Black creators showed up to say they want a seat at the table. And not some weird fold-out chair like Franklin had in the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special.
Plus, we're getting ready for our 200th episode, so expect some nostalgia, receipts, and probably Mo abusing drops. Take a shot.
This is America.
All that and more in today's episode of the Black and Nerdy Podcast.
Adam has arrived.
Hey, Maurice and Odie gonna take over like Zach and Cody. Black and Nerdy is the best podcast. Gonna boom like Wile E. Coyote. Gonna make magic, they move like they hairy. Ain't talking about mental health, no, it's not scary. You know that she coming up with the astrology. Mo got a comic and that's the best policy. Maurice the goat, talking about animation cause you know. Odie, she moving wavy like the boat. Watching some movies and she taking notes. Yeah, kick back, listen. Black and Nerdy have risen. Upload on a mission. 5 stars, never dissing. Black and Nerdy, ooh. Black and Nerdy, yeah. Black and Nerdy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black and Nerdy Podcast, the only podcast where two sexy black nerds get together to shoot the shit. I am Mo, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And together we are the aforementioned Snurds here on episode 199 of the Black and Nerdy Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think I will say pretty good. Some things are annoying, but I'm feeling pretty good at some new developments. And so hopefully I will have some news to share soon. But yeah, I'm feeling good about I'm feeling pretty good about that. How are you doing?
I'm furious. I'm pissed and I'm annoyed, and I will talk about that more when that section comes up. But at the very moment, I am taking all of the energy that is negative and I am doing my best to suppress it, acknowledging it, but also suppressing it because I want to have a fun episode. Because as I mentioned earlier, this is episode 199 of the Black and Nerdy Podcast.
It is.
We are fast approaching the 200th episode of this very show.
Well, as our guest that we recently had on, Gerald, would say, you gotta take that energy, transmute it into something else. Take the negative and transmute it to a positive.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I will take the negative feeling that I had earlier today, and I will channel it into the positivity of abusing the fuck out of some drops.
If you know, you know. When you were younger, did your parents ever angry clean?
No.
No? Like
No.
being so annoyed that you're just like scrubbing.
No. Their anger did not translate into a clean house. Their anger translated into punishment directed at their children, which translated into a clean house.
Yes,
I would
will
say.
say that. I feel like when like if we got in trouble, it would be like, oh, well, you know what we're doing this Saturday? Cleaning out that closet.
Which is strange because that was as I've gotten older, I now look back and I realize that like that was already on their to-do list.
Yes.
So regardless of whether you just like you got straight A's, you went home straight after school or whatever, you were gonna be roped into some chores.
Yeah.
It's just depending on like whether there's gonna be like nice music playing in the background.
Silence.
Or silence and a grumpy atmosphere.
Yes, the grumpy atmosphere is what changed the game.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like to grumpy clean. Like when I like to have like,
I mean, do you like to clean?
no, I don't like to clean, but if I'm gonna clean, I don't want it to be grumpy.
That's fair. I don't see the point of being first off, cleaning is literally just the most benign thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, we're adults. Like, it's a thing that you have to do regardless of your feelings.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, if you are going to clean, you should not be doing it while you're, like, pissed.
Well, I do wish that I had the angry clean gene, because
Why?
I would be super tidy because I'm angry a lot.
I don't believe that would be true.
Yeah, because if I'm cleaning because I'm angry and that's going to settle me down, I would have a sparkling apartment all the time because I'm angry
I see
a lot.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Here's the thing though. I think that, yeah, never mind. Because you are right. Like, if you had that sort of gene within you where, like, your anger says, God damn it, I gotta fucking wash these dishes now. Like, then, yeah, things would probably be a little bit more tidy, I would say. And it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because all I would do would just be pissing you off.
Yeah, well, more than you. I really do. That is a little bit upsetting. But, you know, I think that,
Do I know?
yeah, you do.
If you know, you know. With that being said, like, shall we get started in the episode? Or is there something that you'd like to discuss before we get into the episode?
Well, I need to have the prompter up.
I gotta imagine there was a natural way to
There was,
do
but
that.
You were not.
Like, you
should have had that.
saw
up,
that I was
but you
literally
were
on my
taking
way.
so long to do that by the time, unless I was talking like this, we wouldn't have been ready. All right.
How about we do that over again?
Yeah.
With that being said, shall we get into it? Or is there something that you want to talk about?
That's something that I want to talk about.
Sure. Lead the way, partner.
So before we get into the episodes, nerds, make sure you are following and subscribe to the Black and Sunny podcast wherever you watch or listen.
Yes, you can find our episodes, social media, merch shop, and tip jar in one place, and that's our Beacon AI at blah, 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 blah. Fuck it. Do it again. Shall we... Oh, sorry. With that being said, shall we get into it, or is there something you'd like to discuss?
There's something that I'd like to discuss.
Sure.
So before we get into the episodes, nerds, make sure you are following and subscribe to the Black and Sunny podcast wherever you watch or listen.
That's right. You can find our episodes, social media, merch shop, and our tip jar all in one place at beacons.ai/Black and Snurdy.
Grab a shirt, check out the sticker sheets, leave us a tip, or share the show with another snerd. Every bit of support helps us keep creating.
Or you can just use the QR code that we have right here in the corner of the episode. It'll be there for the remainder of the episode so that you could just go straight to the link.
Snurds better have our money. Now that's a drop.
That is a drop. Snurds better have our money. Honestly, that could be the title of the episode.
I love, someone once said to me that they love watching the podcast so that they can figure out at what timestamp the title of the episode is going to come from.
True. And the funny thing is, there is a stretch of episodes from the, earlier days where you could look at the title and guess what? The title was never in the episode.
Yeah.
Because somebody was very, very lazy and didn't want to have to go back and try to isolate a funny moment and then put it in the title of the episode.
Well,
he just winged it.
Well, that person, even when they were winging it, they were still creating good headlines.
I think one of them is just like titled, "I'm over this title shit." I don't know. But anyhow, shall we get into the meat?
Yes, let's do it, sir.
With a little bit of pop topics.
When you wanna have a deal without a big deal, what you gonna pick?
Hot topics.
That's right. And where are we starting today, madame?
I would like to start with a little Marvel business.
Oh.
Not the shenanigan kind, but the good kind.
Yes.
Marvel and director Ryan Coogler announced at the San Diego Comic-Con that British actor Javen Johnson will play... What did I say?
You said Javen.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Clean.
All right, so Marvel and director Ryan Coogler announced at San Diego Comic-Con that British actor David Johnson will play Prince T'Challa II, aka Toussaint, as the new Black Panther in Black Panther III, which is scheduled for December 15th, 2028.
Fantastic. And you know what I say to that, right?
What do you say?
Y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
Still had that.
Yes,
job. Yeah.
I'm glad we do.
Yeah, I'm also glad that I get to control the banners.
I didn't even realize that's what you did.
Yeah.
All right.
I made a funny for the listeners who are just listening to the audio version. It says, "Damn, son, David Johnson is the new Black Panther."
So, if you didn't ever see anything Black Panther related, which, come on. At the end of Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever, Letitia Wright's character, Shuri, she goes and finds, what's Lupita Nyong'o's name in the movie? Why am I blanking on that? That's going to annoy me.
I want to say Okoye.
No,
but-
Okoye's the head of the...
sorry. I thought you were just going to call her the head because she's bald.
No! Hold on, I'm looking.
Anyhow.
Not the head. That is just rude.
Yeah.
She plays Nakia.
Nakia. Okay.
In
Nakia Applebaum. She's
You
got
gotta
it going
put me
on.
Nakia Applebaum, you gotta put me on.
Nakia. Yes, she plays Nakia in the Black Panther series.
And she is, we know that she is T'Challa's love interest. We know they previously dated or were together, and then in Black Panther that kind of rekindles. Of course, unfortunately, Wakanda Forever is a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, aka T'Challa, the Black Panther, because he has passed away. And at the end of the movie, when Shuri goes to Haiti to see what Nakia has been up to, she meets Toussaint, aka the new Black Panther.
Yes. First and foremost, I still to this day, my issues with Wakanda Forever, the second movie, are plentiful. But I do think that it was the aspects of it that, praised Chadwick Boseman and, the sort of tribute that they had to both him, the actor, and him, the character. I think those were done well.
Yeah.
And in the end, the Black Panther had a kitten. So that's awesome. And that's what has led to this announcement of David Johnson being the new Black Panther.
And a lot of people, like we said, have had some thoughts, but I want to give you a rundown of just some of the things that David Johnson has been in.
Sure.
He is currently in industry. He was in Alien Romulus. He was in The Long Walk, the Stephen King adaptation. And he was also in Ryan Lane, which I've seen. I have not seen Industry. I really have been wanting to see The Long Walk. Still worried it's going to be too scary for me, but I wanted to see it because he was in it.
Sure.
Because when we watched Ryan Lane, that British, Black rom-com, he was so good in it.
He really was good. Look, I personally think that he is a very talented actor. And he has he has some range to him, as far as being able to, inhabit these characters, and there's a level of charm to him as well.
Yeah. And I think that to me, one, we know that we've had all this discussion ever since Chadwick Boseman's untimely passing about, are they going to recast T'Challa? who's going to be the new Black Panther, all of these things. And my belief in this is that this movie, I think one of the reasons we loved it so much was because of the fact that it didn't seem like these actors were just like acting and then like leaving, right? It really felt like a family.
Okay, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
And when Chadwick Boseman passed, you could see how much it affected so many people in that cast, especially Ryan Coogler, which is why I think that he took his time to find someone. So in the Griot article that I was reading about Comic-Con, Ryan Coogler had this to say about David Johnson's hiring. The last time we got to make a movie, we introduced a character who is the son of the character that the great Chadwick Boseman played, our T'Challa, in that film. And today I want to tell you, in this next film, he grows up and he comes of age. He's the guy. He's the guy. I felt it. I felt it in my soul. He's a good man, and he's the next Black Panther. And I got chills, and I got a little welled up and said, let's do it. So we've been sitting on this secret for a good 5 or 6 months. I think that just speaks to how important this casting was to Ryan Coogler and everyone making the film. Because I think to lose a colleague, to lose a friend in that way, it's heartbreaking. It is. And then having to keep going and trying to like make a new film and what are we going to do? And obviously like I don't think there could be a Wakanda movie without Ryan Coogler, right?
No, absolutely not. Like I will say, like of the various like in-house directors that Marvel has, Ryan Coogler is top tier. If he's not the best one, he's easily top 5, not 5. Yes. Like it's Ryan Coogler, it's the dudes who did Captain America Winter Soldier and the Russos. And then there is one more that I'm blanking on. Oh, I've been hearing a lot of really great things about the director of Spider-Man Brand New Day, who is a different director than the first 3 Spider-Man movies. So, you know, like of that ilk, like I think you have to, you know, retain Ryan Coogler and trust that Ryan Coogler has an eye for both the character, the world, and the respect of whoever is coming to fill Chadwick Boseman's shoes.
Yeah, and I think that because Black Panther is so unique, I think, within Marvel, because of, like, it was our first non-white superhero that's coming out, and it broke open the doors for us to have like a Shang-Chi and all these other like non-white superheroes coming out of Marvel. So I think that I definitely think that Ryan Coogler like he thought about it. He didn't just make this decision. Now, from what I've been seeing online, the discourse has been, there's lots of people who are excited about David's joining, but then we always have to teeter into diaspora wars, and seeing people say that like David Johnson, why isn't he a Black American, and he's not good enough, he's not attractive enough, he's not tall enough, all these things. Now David Johnson, he is a Black British man of Nigerian descent. And most importantly, he's an extremely talented actor. And even more importantly than that, Wakanda is not a real place. So a Black person from wherever can be there if they can have, my only thing is if they are going to have a good accent. Like, I love Forrest Whitaker. I love him. But are we ever going to get the power of the Black Panther out of our heads? No. Because even though we know that they used various different languages from various different countries, and it's a amalgamation of various African cultures, we know that sounded silly. So if David Johnson's going to come in there and act his ass off and have a good accent, that's what I care about.
Sure. And honestly, like, I think that I trust in Ryan Coogler. You know what I mean? Like, he's so far of the 2 Marvel movies that he's made, he has made one damn near perfect movie, minus those rhinos, and one that honestly, like, it had a lot to deal with because it had to be both a tribute and a sequel. Yeah. And then also set up other bullshit that was happening in whatever phase that was.
Yeah.
On top of, you know, having to deal with certain vaccine deniers or issues. But, like, if anybody is up to the task of, you know, finding somebody to bring the character of T'Challa's son to life, I think Ryan Coogler is the one that has an eye on it. And honestly, like, let's be real, Black Panther is the one and only black superhero that Marvel has been able to allow to fucking exist in a like unmuddled with mostly unmuddled way, because again, what was it? Ironheart, that nonsense,
and every other
and then Black you know, and then Blade didn't is never gonna happen, and you know, Captain Falcon, and that was not good. And then the Marvel one with Rambo, not great. Look,
don't even remember what that one was.
Yeah, so of all, and then of course Nick Fury. Yeah.
Oh, the Secret War.
Yeah,
I liked that one.
You liked the Secret Invasion?
Yeah, I liked that one.
The show that we watched.
I did like it
with the AI intro.
Oh, I didn't know that was AI.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Notoriously, it was. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the show.
Well, I think I just like the general, like, the show itself, because I like, you know, I like Nick Fury. So I like.
Yeah, we like Nick Fury. Okay, but look, listen. Marvel only has one, like, unsullied black superhero.
Yeah.
So if anybody's going to do him justice, I think it's Ryan Coogler. Final thoughts?
Wakanda is not real. There are so many other movies that we could talk about, whether or not the casting is appropriate, and, you know, just lumping black people into a space and saying, like, here we go, it looks kind of African-ish to me. But I think that we should be celebrating black people who are doing amazing things, aren't ridiculous, and are bringing art that we can enjoy. And I think that, you know, diaspora wars are just a CIA op to separate us, and we need to get over that shit. You?
My trust is in Ryan Coogler. If the man says that he put the time and effort to find the right person to fill this role, then I am honestly gonna believe him, because not just his work within Marvel, but just his body of work in overall has led me to believe that he has an eye for storytelling and he has an eye for casting.
Yeah.
Granted that a good portion of his casting just so happens to be his friend Michael B. Jordan. Then he kind of blew his wad in the first Black Panther, and Michael B. Jordan can't come back as Black Panther unless this is a what if movie.
But they did it in Doom.
What'd you say?
I said they did it with Doom. If you know,
I'm still,
if he come back as Doom, shit, anything is possible.
I'm still curious as to how that's going to play out. The point that I'm trying to make is trust in Ryan Coogler.
Yes.
I have very little trust in a lot of Hollywood actors and directors. Ryan Coogler stands among a small handful who, if he says that he put his effort into finding this right person and he believes that this person is the right person, I will grant him the benefit of the doubt until I am proven wrong. Ryan Coogler can do no wrong. Ryan Coogler can't do no wrong. That should be a drop in and of itself.
It should be.
I don't know where it would fit in the grand scheme of the podcast, but Ryan Coogler can do no wrong.
I see that, in my opinion, Ryan Coogler is going to be working for so long and creating so much more movies and art for us to see.
Sure.
That we'll be able to use this for decades to come.
Ryan Coogler can't do no wrong. I mean, especially if we're gonna watch the fucking X-Files
Yes, we will.
show. But, we'll see.
See, that's what you get for not agreeing with me immediately.
Well, no. Ryan Coogler can do no wrong, but you're not Ryan Coogler, so, You're not. You're literally not Ryan Coogler.
I'm not.
No.
I am me.
Yes. All right, moving right along, because I like to sing Muppets. Shall we go to the next thing?
We shall.
All right. Odie, why don't you hit us off with coming to break you off with the next story that we're going to be talking about.
All right, so Black influencers and creators are under fire for going on a little camping trip with OpenAI. Recently, there was an OpenAI retreat this past August, which brought creators together for a discussion about AI tools, content, and collaboration.
Sure.
Now, the issue many folks have with this is that Black creators coming up and showing like, oh, I'm here. Look at the great hotel they gave me. Look at my little gift. Sorry, let me do it again because I burped.
Sure.
So like Black creators coming online and doing the usual influencer. Oh, look at my hotel.
Sorry, do that again. For some reason, it didn't do the thing.
Okay.
Okay, and go.
So Black influencers and creators doing these like videos of, look at this brand event I'm at. This is my hotel. Look at my gift bag. It rubbed people the wrong way because we know that there's so much disdain, I would say, about AI, especially generative AI,
Sure.
because of the harm to the planet, and also because they're using AI to create, ads and content and things of that nature. So as an influencer or a creator in any space that you're in, your job is really at risk.
Yes, it
Right?
is.
So having these Black creators come out and being like openly like, I'm so excited to be doing this thing is kind of like you're getting a side eye.
Now, I do have a question about this. The Black creators who were creating the content, like the videos that were coming out, are we absolutely sure that they were actual Black influencers and not just, generated images of Black creators?
Yeah.
Like, did we check to see if they had the same amount of fingers on each hand, or if their facial expressions actually matched up with the emotion that they were trying to convey? Because you never know.
You never know. You never know. But I did,
Sorry, that's another drop idea that I have. You never know, homie.
take a shot. I did watch different videos because it wasn't just Black creators. There were Black creators, people of color, white creators there.
Also, did you take a look at the banner?
Did not see the banner.
For the listeners, it says, I'm going to leave the door open, AI.
I think that this rubs me the wrong way. Outside of just the, I don't know if you would say logistics, but the fact that AI is coming for creators of any kind.
Sure.
And Black creators, of course, Black models, Black artists, Black musicians, etc.
Sure.
Taking money away from them. I also think about the impact that AI is having on Black communities.
Right.
So you have one, I was reading in another article, but
I would say that one of the biggest impacts that AI is having on Black
can we start that
communities.
again? I'm sorry, because I did a big pause.
I know. That's why I was trying to
No.
fill it while you figured
No.
out where you wanted to go.
I knew where I wanted to go. I just had a brain fart. Okay, so one of the things that I think rubs me the wrong way with this is not just the fact that AI is impacting jobs and taking money away from Black creators and Black artists and musicians, etc. It's also the way that it impacts the Black community, just in various nefarious ways.
Yes.
So one person that I wanted to bring up is Robert Dillon, who in 2024 he was arrested for a crime he did not commit because AI facial recognition scanned, like they were talking about a crime, scanned him. They arrested him, even though he was 300 miles away from the crime. And even to this day, he still is trying to like put his life together because he was in jail for 3 months. They did later free him, but he lost custody of his kids. He lost his job, and just his life was turned upside down about that. And then also we have the environmental impact, but the environmental impact on Black communities.
That actually really surprised me that a lot more people aren't like against AI just from that story alone. Like an AI like wrongfully mistook this Black man for a criminal. That's clearly taking white cops' jobs.
Exactly.
Like,
What are they gonna do?
Like, what are white cops supposed to do? Like 90% of their job is locking up the wrong Black people for crimes that they did not commit. You know, like that's their whole thing. That's why we gave them body cameras so that we can see them do horrible, murderous things and then also not charge them. But at least now we have a different angle and can watch them commit the crime. But the crime is legal and we still won't charge them with anything and take them to jail. We'll just maybe ship them to a different department.
Qualified immunity.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know
Cops
that.
are like priests.
Sure are.
And I'll let you figure out how that connects.
If you know, you know.
So one thing that I found out, that Fisk University, which is an HBCU, earlier this year, they announced a $1 billion plan they called the Quantum Leap to revitalize the campus. And it would include a 700 square foot data center that the administrators said would create generational revenue for the college. Obviously, people push back on this because if you didn't know, AI data centers, they cause extreme noise pollution, which you wouldn't think is like noise pollution, like who cares? But the studies they do on places that are overly noisy, even just like as in a city, the way that can impact you psychologically.
Yeah.
They take away the water and or poison the water. Oh God. But I think those things, like the environmental impact on Black people, is what to me is the most bothersome. We still don't have water in Flint. There's still so many areas that are Black and brown and or low income that there's not enough water or not clean water. And so you think about putting a data center in a place that more data centers in more places where Black people are, we are dooming and harming our community. So to be going on a trip, regardless of how much money they're giving you, to me is just, it's not community centered, and it's very white supremacy adjacent. Not even adjacent, it's just intermingled.
Yeah, sure. I would say that one, I've been wanting to say this for a little bit. Quantum Leap for any sort of project is really dumb because everybody knows the series Quantum Leap never finished. So it's essentially you're naming something about an incomplete thing. So
It didn't finish twice because
really
the
dumb.
reboot didn't get a closer.
Exactly. He leaped and never got home. And then also, just like we've already seen, like the impacts that AI has had, like on the Black community as far as the negative aspects of it, because now the Black community is inundated with those fucking like AI flyers.
There's so many.
It's the same fucking flyers, and it's the same font, and it's the same like style.
There's no white space.
There's no. Well, I mean, good, but also. But also, like, it's not doing a great job when it comes to how many of those, Black woman, with the sort of dress, sitting in a chair, looking luxurious, but it has that AI tint to it.
I hate it.
I've seen I won't say the name of the Howard University person that we both know who had one for their birthday recently, but didn't look great.
They're everywhere.
It
is a scourge on the Black communities.
It really
and
is.
now they're bringing them to restaurants. You can't take the picture of your Hennessy stuffed crab, stuffed lobster, penne Alfredo. Like, why do we need to have an AI picture of that? Just make it. Take the picture. It's going to cost you less money.
I love how you could tell what generation we grew up with, because like you didn't stop at just make it. Like, you stopped at just make it and take the picture.
Yeah. Because you got to do both.
We've normalized so much bullshit.
Yeah, you got to do both.
And maybe this is me being in my unk phase, but that's the one thing I'll never understand is just like how Facebook will remind you just like, hey, 3 years ago, you had a hot dog, like, the fuck are you talking about? My algorithm is gonna remain the way that God intended it to. Facebook reminding me that 8 years ago, I dated a person who no longer wants me anywhere near their life. And they wanted to remind me that I made a whole photo album of just us having a fun day together to bring me pain. I don't need a photo of a fucking birthday cake to remind me that I had a birthday cake on my birthday 3 years ago.
I like it. I like my memories.
I'm sure you do.
I like my food memories because I like to go back and look at those pictures and being like, I did eat that. That was delicious. Let me go find it again. I like it. I want to go. When I'm old, I'm going to go into my Google Photos if it's still around and not like it's probably going to be processed in my brain. And I'm going to be blinking and looking at all the foods that I've eaten over the day. All right, final thoughts.
Look, I think we should all be careful of AI, especially within the Black community, because I know it seems, reasonable to cozy up to these AI people, but the AI people will be the second ones to betray you. First one's is always going to be the whites. It's always going to be the white. Like, no offense, but like, it's the one thing that AI can never truly eradicate and replace is just general white supremacy and white hate. Like, the white people, you're the best at racism. You're the best at white supremacy. You're really fucking nailing it. And not even AI can replace you at that.
That's true.
And I hope that part gets clipped and shared on the internet just out of no context. That it won't even lead to anybody watching this episode. It'll just be me saying, hey, white people, AI will never replace you when it comes to your white hate.
Clip it.
Final thought for you?
When I think about this, I think about the lessons that Octavia Butler wrote in her books. And I'm going to bring her up.
I know.
Gonna do it.
Yeah, take a shot.
In Parable the Sower, she talks heavily about the Black people who were working in these fields that were harming not just Black people, but the entire community, right? And I think that's something that we really have to think about, that I know that it's hard in a capitalistic world to have necessarily morals, because morals do not pay your bills. But in most cases, you can at least make a decision. And I think that we need to make the decision not to align ourselves with companies that are actively harming us, whether it's our bank accounts, our community, our news feeds. And so it doesn't matter how big the check is. If the AI companies are not actually teaching you things that are going to help the community moving forward, there's no need for you to be there, because all they're going to be doing is taking your likeness, your voice, and all those things, your ideas, and running with it.
AI, you're just not that fly for an AI. And that has been Pop Topic.
When you wanna have real without a big deal, what are you gonna pick?
Pop Topics. Break time, Snurds. Are y'all enjoying today's episode?
The easiest way to support Black and Nerdy is to subscribe, leave a review, and send this episode to someone who would love the conversation.
You can also shop our Black and Snurdy collection or contribute through our tip jar.
Visit our QR code right here to find the merch shop, tip jar, latest episodes, and all our social pages. Thank you for helping us grow.
10 million strong and growing. No, I wish we had. What was that from? Was that Juicy Juice or was that Kix? Kix cereal.
No, maybe it was Kix.
No, Flintstone Kids.
Flintstone Kids. I always wanted those
We
Flintstone Kids
are-
candies.
Wait, what do you mean? They're not candies. They're vitamins.
I call them candies.
They did taste like candies. Honestly, I would.
Chalky ass candy. They like Smarties.
Yeah, my mom used to hide them. And hey, spoiler alert. She'll never listen to this. You did a bad job because I always figured out where they were. They were always in the back of your armoire. And I got to them. Yeah, I got to them. And then the joke was on me because, like, they're literally just vitamins. You know what I mean? Like, they're vitamins.
Yeah. What do you do? Be extra vitamined up?
Yeah, exactly. Now, though, it is not all good in the hood. And do you know why, Odie?
Why?
Because it's Odie's Anime Breakdown! That's right. It is about that time where Odie now has to describe an anime that she's seen me watch or has watched with me. For those of y'all who are not familiar or who are new to the podcast, I am a big fan and a big lover and appreciator of anime. Always have been, always will be, way back, even before Toonami. Odie is not. Anime is just not her thing. Gotten her into some anime. We're watching One Piece. We're all caught up to the anime. Not the manga, even though she loves to read books and shit. And so what I do is when we are off hours, when we are just sitting around the apartment, I will put on an anime and I will see if she gets engaged and if she watches and if she pays attention. Then I'll come on this podcast and I'll surprise her with an Odie's Anime Breakdown in which she has to describe the plot or some characters or the story of an anime that I know for a fact I have seen her watch or be around as I watch. In today's episode, with 1 minute on the clock, you need to describe.
I'm very annoyed.
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, okay.
And go.
So this story is about these two brothers. The one in the human-looking one is older. The one who's in the Iron Giant costume is younger. They are alchemists, and the younger brother lost his whole entire body, and the older brother, he did alchemy to put his soul into this suit. And so they are working with the government to help them in this war that they're having. And as of right now, we're only like a few episodes in. But as of right now, the brothers just defeated a villain. I think was his name Freezer or something like that. And he was trying to warn the brothers that the government isn't actually what they seem, and that they're being used and all this stuff. But the main point is that the older brother wants to find his younger brother's body and get it back to him.
Bonus 30 seconds on the clock. Can you name a single character in this show? Go.
You don't even have to put that on there because the only person I remember right now is Freezer and the general.
Okay, what's the general's name?
I don't remember. That's why I just said the general. I don't remember.
Wait,
the
which
general's
general,
name.
by the way?
The main general that killed Freezer. I remember the guy that there.
You remember the guy who killed Freezer?
Yeah, and then the other guy who's their guardian,
he was a general
whose wife got them quiche, made them quiche.
Okay.
I don't remember these people's names.
All right. Well, you know what? I will give you a solid B.
Okay.
And the main reason is because it's not fair. Like, this is not traditionally Odie's anime breakdown is an anime that I put on to gauge if you're even interested in watching the story. Mm-hmm. We, for this one, actually sat down and made an agreement to watch the story.
Yes.
All right. So already it's a bit tainted because you actively were interested in watching this. Mm-hmm. However, though, because this anime holds a special place in many anime fans' hearts, because it is peak anime, it's arguably one of, if not the best anime of all time, and it could be the greatest. It's easily Mount Rushmore material. Mm-hmm. And then also because when you were describing the anime, you kept dipping into some levels of generalities, but you were specific as far as the brother dynamic and, you know,
what generalities?
What generalities?
Yeah.
There's a war going on. You don't necessarily get that from the first episode.
They said there was a war.
Okay. What was the war that they were talking about?
I have no clue, but they said there was a war.
And that's why you don't get an A. You don't get higher than a B. But here's the most egregious part. You referred to the guy you referred to the person who took out the antagonist in the first episode, the freezing alchemist, as the general.
Not a general?
No, he is not a general.
What's his name?
He is King Bradley, aka the Fuhrer.
Forgot about the H-Man reference.
Yes.
That's what I initially thought of when I watched the thing. Completely forgot that's what it was called.
So you don't get higher than a B. You can't get higher than a B. If you're watching a show and there's military in it and one of the characters is literally referred to as the Fuhrer and that doesn't stick in your mind, then I'm sorry.
I have a minute on the clock. My mind is racing. I'm trying to get all this information.
I'm honestly surprised you didn't mention that there were demons, because that's usually your go-to when describing any anime.
Well, they're
fighting demons with magic.
They weren't demons in this one as of yet. I mean, there were monsters coming out because they were alchemized, but I don't remember seeing demons.
What are you talking about?
Well, I mean,
what?
Well, not monsters.
In the first episode.
No, they weren't monsters. But we watched 2 episodes, I thought, or 3.
No, we've only watched the one.
Oh, it felt like it was so many more. Okay. I thought we had at least watched 3 episodes.
I mean, in the past we've tried, but recently we started with just episode 1.
Yes, you're right.
Anyway, and that has been Odie's anime breakdown. Yeah. So as we mentioned, we will be having our 200th episode coming up. And just a small little note, the very next episode that you see us in will not be the 200th episode. It'll be a bonus episode.
So?
But the episode after that will also be a bonus episode. There's going to be a few bonus episodes in between this one and the 200th episode, because we want to take our time with giving y'all the best 200th episode ever. Honestly, I see the 200th episode a lot like slow cooking a piece of meat.
You want it to be tender.
I want it to be, just try a little tenderness. I want it to be, soft. I want it to be enjoyable. And I'm going to take my time giving it the love and attention that one puts into putting a piece of meat into a slow cooker or a crock, whatever you call those things, a crock pot, and then just sort of putting all that bullshit in there and then leaving for several hours and then coming back, because that honestly is my definition of cooking. Just putting a bunch of bullshit in there and then just walking away to do a day's worth of tasks and then coming back and saying, oh, now I have a meal. That's what our 200th episode is going to be.
Well, I hope it tastes better than what you described.
Yes. Before we even get to our 200th episode, did you have any thoughts about the 199 that we've done so far? Does any of them even stick out like the first 100 to you? They can't. There's no way.
Are you going to let me answer the question?
I will. But I will preface by saying, if you didn't remember Fuhrer King Bradley the last week of watching it, I can't imagine you remember anything from the last 5 years.
Well, I just remember things I really care about. So number one, my first birthday episode.
Sure.
When you gave me all those shirts that you made for me.
Yes. Yes.
That was really fun.
Can you name 2 other gifts that I gave you on that episode?
You gave me the shirts. You also gave me some jewelry.
I did.
That I'm wearing.
Yep.
Oh gosh, what else did you give me? I don't remember. What else was there?
It was a emergency kit because
yes!
one of our first episodes you
About being a
fashioned
prepper.
Yes, you fashioned yourself as a prepper.
Yes.
And I challenged that. And in that episode, I gave you an emergency kit.
You did. You did. And it's done me well. I haven't had to use it much. But when I have, it's had the things in there.
Do you know where it is?
In the bathroom.
That's my emergency kit. Where's yours?
If it's not in the bathroom, maybe in the bedroom. I don't know. Is it a pop quiz? Where's Odie's things?
Brother, this guy stinks!
Another one I think about, I don't remember I remember a specific segment of this early episode. It's when we did the little like psychological test where we drew the house.
I do remember that one.
What are 3 ones that you remember?
Three
Three first 100 or early episodes.
Sure. I distinctly remember in the early episodes you were very like journalism heavy.
Yes.
And we had several, like, it felt like there was just like a month where there were just mass shootings happening all the time, and you wanted to talk about them. And I was just like, nah, I don't know if I wanted to do this. Because of this, like, I not only am I talking about this on air in front of a mic, but I also have to listen back to it and edit it so that, you know, like, it's polished. So I'm effectively listening to it multiple times before it even airs.
Yeah.
So that is a memorable thing for me.
I mean, you definitely have. We've moved away from doing. There's certain stories that we will not do anymore.
Do you remember the one where like I legitimately afterwards was like, no, I now have to have my input into the stories. Like,
it was after,
because in the very beginning the premise was that she would bring the stories and I would just come up with my thoughts and opinions based on what she said, and then they would be entertaining from there. But after a conga line of mass shootings, and then after one particular story, it was like, no, I have to have some input as to what we talk about.
It was
Do you remember?
The unaliving of a baby.
Yeah, and yep.
And you just said, I have had enough. Yeah.
It turns out that, ironically, because one of our jobs is about a baby merchant, he's not a baby merchant of the D word. That means unalive. So
I think that for me, like when we initially started one, it's like stories that I as a journalist, I'm reading stories all the time. Unfortunately,
yes, I know you are.
A lot of stories are not happy stories. There's a lot. I always think there's the same amount of good things and the same amount of bad things happening.
But that's not true.
But this is the thing. usually the ones that are the worst are going to stick the most in my head because I'm going to be so horrified by them. And so that is be like, I need to talk about this because this was terrible. It was crazy. And I need more people to know this happened. And so that is where I was coming from. But I also understand that necessarily is not other people. Like, I think non-journalists, because my journalist friends, we will talk about a lot of heavy things all the time because we know that there's...
But here's the thing. My comedian friends and fellow comedians will also talk about like heavy things all the time. But the difference is that I think this might be the difference between a journalist and a comedian. A journalist will see a heavy topic and will be fascinated about it from like top to bottom and try to figure out the why and try to figure out the how and all of the, the reporters' questions, the who, what, when, where, why, and who, what, when, where, why,
how,
and how. A comedian will take a subject, right? Analyze it in different points of view and still find the humor in it. A good comedian, by the way, not a fucking Kill Tony bullshit comedian who will just find somehow the racist angle to take because you only have a minute to come up with your jokes. And it turns out that that's not an effective way to actually build a career in comedy when you have a fucking bucket, draw a name out of it, and then you only have a minute to get a insular community on your side who literally only laugh at like the low hanging last denominator jokes. So I think the thing is, like, for a journalist, like, you're not thinking about the audience when you are dissecting the story necessarily, like, or at the very least you don't lead with that. With comedians, like, I like to think of it as like it's essentially like a fucking service industry. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of where we're coming from, we always have in mind of how will people react? How will they see this? And like, it's a feedback thing, with y'all, it's more of just like the story itself. And if the reaction, then a reaction later, it's not top of mind for y'all. Hence why you will put on a note, let's talk about a story where a baby is unalived in a car wreck. I think it
wasn't a car. It was I think it was the parent doing it. But
no, well, it was a car. I distinctly remember a car involved.
There probably was. But I will push back in the saying that I think you were correct, except for not thinking about your audience. Because I remember in college when I was doing the New York Times Institute, I was covering a court case, and it was a double grape. And Dean Baquet, who was the executive editor at the time, I believe he might still be that, unless he's retired. But I opened up with what I thought was like what grabbed me the most, a quote from one of the victims. And he was like, this is definitely eye-catching, and it conveys like the trauma and the terror that this woman felt. However, to think of the old adage that you have as journalists, like, what will someone who's reading this at the breakfast table think? And I think that is what a good journalist tries to do, even though you might be talking about terrible things, like being mindful of how graphic you're being.
Sure.
Being mindful of your tone and how you are bringing it to people. Because I think that, unfortunately, in this life, as much as we always want there to just be unicorns and rainbows, that's not it. And I think that knowing that terrible things have happened gives us a way of trying to combat it. That is how I have always taken things. And I know that I grew up in a household where we were always watching the news, always reading the newspaper, always having discussions about things happening in our community and the world. So I do not shy away from, nor am I like repulsed by the idea of having a discussion about something that might be hard and or horrifying. But I forget that sometimes other people may have more difficulty with those topics than I do, because I'm going to be sensitive, I'm going to be understanding, and I'm going to try to give people the information in the best way possible. But I recognize that even as a journalist, having to take a step back, right? In 2020, when everything was happening with Black Lives Matter and the movement was going, and one of my friends was covering a lot of those stories, and it was something that we talked about often, of like trying to protect yourself, the self-care, etc. Because I think that is something that Black journalists have always had to deal with, because as a Black journalist, you're going to be covering things that are directly impacting not just the community at large, but explicitly your community. And that is something that you have to be mindful of, that yes, all this information is important, but how much of it, of this negative news, am I taking in?
Sure.
You know? So that is why I didn't ever like push back on like, why can't we talk about these terrible things that are coming out? Because as much as I think people do need to know, I also feel like we do need to have a space where we don't have to hear about it all the time, right? Like we could kind of have a break.
Yeah,
So, which
of
is
course.
why I feel like now we do talk about things that are impacting us.
I think there's a healthy balance.
Yeah.
I like, look, we can literally have a week where we just enjoy the positive things of not dancing Idris getting Black Panther, or, you know, and
Well, he would have if he hadn't been dating Lori Harvey.
well,
You know?
If you know, you know.
I mean, we all know though. But we also take some time to talk about serious things as well.
Yeah.
We're still monitoring. By the way, we're still monitoring the Nolan Wells story. We're still monitoring the David trial, D4VD. Well, we haven't dropped any of those things. We're just waiting for those things to play out, and then we're going to come back and discuss them. But yeah, like, I think that we found a nice, healthy balance. Did I even name all three things?
You have one more.
Okay. What of the other ones that stood out? And it's weird now to say this. I was always against guests being on the show. As I've gotten older, matured a little bit, but it was nice to have my best friend Sam on the show. And it was also nice to have my dad on the show.
It was. And I think that, like, I'm glad those were our first two guests.
And I think because, and I know how weird this is going to sound, if I had not agreed to have them on, I don't think we would have the likes of Queen It Shall Be, or Black Geek Energy, or
Black Girl Nerds.
or Blurred by Nature,
Blurdish.
or Blurred. Well, I mean, that's in the tank. Like,
Sorry.
we haven't. Turns out we have an episode coming up with the hosts from Blurdish. But yeah,
We've had a lot, so many.
Shakita Johnson. I'm not naming all of them
Because there's too many.
there's just too many. Trust. There's so fucking many.
And there will be more.
And there will be more. But the fact that we had them spelled out to me that, like, that was the direction that this was ultimately going to go. So that has stuck out to me. Final question before we move on to what we all know y'all want to hear is if there was one lesson that you personally learned from the last 199 episodes, what was it?
I think that checking my ego and really allowing for collaboration. Because, like, my previous podcast before, I was just doing it myself.
I see what you're
Most projects I've ever done have been done on my own. And I think that I work, even though I prefer to work with other people, I think when it comes down to, like, ideas and, like, what I'm deciding to do, like, I really love that freedom. And I think that in the beginning, I had a hard time, like, loosening the reins and saying like, give me the input that you had, in the sense of like, you would want to give us like time frames to talk about things, and I'd be very anti that because I just wanted it to be like a flowing conversation.
I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying.
Or like,
you continue.
You know, the type of conversations we were going to have and the type of segments we were going to have. I very much wanted to be in control of that, whether I expressed that to you or not. But I think internally I had to have that shift.
Okay. I do think it's funny that like in the beginning I came in with like an idea of just like we should have like a structure of some kind. And then after a while I like there was a sort of shift where it was more free reign. So again, I think it was more like a pendulum. You know what I mean? Where it was like like I had this idea. I've been doing podcasting for a long time. We got to have a structure. And then it was just like, loosening of the reins. Like, yeah. And then it was like, we can't keep doing 2 hours of this fucking shit.
I was looking through,
and I'm recording this, and I have to edit it. And like, you know what? Absolutely. Let's do 2 hours and see how that goes. And then when no lessons were learned, it was like, all right, now let's dial this bullshit back because
I was looking at some, like, going through our old episodes just in preparation for 200, and I saw that we had one episode that clocked out at like 2:30. And I was like, oh, we were talking a long time. But I remember one time my dad was like, oh, I was watching an episode, and he was like, I like it. And he's like, but I think you should cut it down a little bit. And I was like, whatever, Dad. I don't want to admit that you're saying what Maurice is saying. And I don't know if I ever told you that.
Yeah.
But I was like,
you're very much the Zack Snyder of our creative endeavors. And then to answer the question that I asked you that you didn't ask me, but I'm going to answer anyway. Lesson wise from what we've done so far, honestly, it is kind of standing up to myself. I worded that wrong.
Standing up for yourself?
Advocating for myself. Not advocating for myself, but advocating for myself within the framework of the podcast. Like, I think there was a time where, like, I thought we were equals and, like, we had a similar idea of what we wanted the podcast to be, and it became clear that like those ideas didn't necessarily mesh. And there is a good stretch of time where like I kind of fall back and allowed you to take control. And honestly, there's still a lot of gold to be mined in those episodes. But when that unalive baby happened, it was like, no, I and it wasn't even just me advocating for myself. It was advocating for myself within the podcast. So like, I don't know. I don't want to do this like this anymore. If I'm going to be doing what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So like I think that was the one thing to just sort of like stand up to my creative partner and just be like, no, we can't do that. We're not doing that. And that's just what that is. Like, I'm not a bully. I'm open to collaboration. I'm open to freewheeling, things. But like, we have different styles, and your style is a little bit more. It's weird, and it's weird because like our styles are loose but different in our looseness. Like, you need to be reined in order to be free. I can be free within a restraint. Does that make sense?
I think that kind of sounds like the same thing that you said about me.
No. You need to be reined in order to be your freest self. I can be my freest self even while being restricted. Okay. You see what I'm saying? You see the difference? Okay, yeah. Like, you being free with anything else is fucking chaos, and it's a nightmare to edit. So you have to be optimized in order for your freedom.
I 100%.
You need structure.
I need structure.
Yeah.
I need routine.
You do.
That is the best thing for my ADHD brain.
Yeah.
Even though it sucks because I hate it, but I also know that I need it because within that framework, I can then be my best self in the confines of, what I'm doing.
Yeah. And mind you, listeners, we might cut all this shit up. But whereas me, I could literally that's why a little peek behind the curtain, I allow for if there's 5 minutes within things that are making us mad and Odie goes over time like you want to do, I'll just sandwich all of my stuff within a minute because I can work within that framework. I just have to make it work. I can make it work even when I'm restricted. That's it. That's it.
Right.
I mean,
so what is
no more
no more
questions.
Okay.
I even said this is the last question.
Oh, sorry. See, I can't take it.
And that is what I've learned. I've learned to say no. I've learned to cut shit out and cut shit off.
Out.
Exactly.
Wait.
If you know, you know.
Fair enough. But here's the thing, folks. It's not all rainbows and lollipops and
No, it's not.
I was trying to think of that song.
Rainbows?
No, it's like the song that goes like sunshine. Yeah, it's not all sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and everything. That's what I'm going to... After 200 episodes, that's how I'm going to lead into this segment. I'm going to say, it's not always sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and everything with us. Because here's the thing. I don't know about you, but I'm irritated. I'm bothered. I'm irked. I'm peeved. I'm miffed. I'm vexed. I'm aggravated, I should say. I'm exacerbated. I'm displeased. I'm cross. I'm angered. I'm infuriated. I'm irate. I'm outraged. I'm so appalled. A drop I should get. And we are allowed to feel these things because we are big mad.
Bringing it. What? We griping. We're not griping anywhere else. We griping. This takes place for us to share. We griping. We ain't griping anywhere else. We griping.
Odie, what's making you big mad at the moment?
Okay, two things. The first one, I'm going to make it real quick. Unemployment is some fucking ass. It's bullshit. I don't understand why it should take more than a month for you to submit everything, go down to visit, wait an hour to get a call, and then still not get money. You are paying into this thing so that when you are not working, you can get the money. You are registered and all this stuff, and yet and still you're under review. So that's one thing that's pissing me off. The other thing that's pissing me off is a more broader, more upsetting situation. As we all know, the Trump administration is full of shit. Constantly going after and harming people in various communities, especially Black, brown, immigrant, etc. communities. So recently, I found out that Haitians are being targeted by the Trump administration in Ohio. There was recently, within the last month or so, Haitians who are living here have there was already a situation where Trump was trying to send them back. It got to stay. It wasn't happening. So now, in at very least Ohio, they are having people come in for their immigration appointments and then giving them ankle monitors. Now, immigration attorneys told Scripps News that it is unusual to place ankle monitors on people who are not a flight risk or have no previous criminal history. And I think this is extremely upsetting. It sets a precedent that we should all be worried about. Haitians are so important to the Black community and the Black diaspora. Without Haiti, who knows how long it would have taken us to get free from the shackles of slavery. And I really and truly believe that white Western countries have been trying to get their get back for Haiti freeing themselves and the rest of the Western world from those shackles since it happened. And I think everyone should be horrified by this. Everyone should be talking about it, protesting, writing your Congress people, all those things, because what they are willing to do to one group of people, they are willing to do to every group of people. So it is not something where you can just say, well, it's not me, I'm born here, because you never know when it's going to knock on your front door. How about you? What's making you angry?
I honestly, there was a number of things that I wanted to talk about. And a number of things that like I've been wanting to talk about, the thing that's like making me mad. I was gonna come in here and be on some playful shit of just being like, I embarrassed myself by not remembering what a colon was on a keyboard, as someone who was an authority figure to me hovered over me and said, "Oh, push a colon," and I pushed, admittedly, the comma and then the semi-comma because I got them mixed up and I got confused. And I don't like that kind of pressure when white men are hovering over me, telling me instructions of things to do that they want me to see the results of. It's weird, and I was going to, come in and be like, I'm upset with myself. I also was going to be upset with people who don't understand the concept of the concept of probability does not equal certainty. I was also going to be upset with people who just sort of like, get frustrated. There was a number of things I was going to be upset with. But here's what I'm going to be upset with today. Small companies, startup companies, get your payroll shit in order. There's no reason why I should be getting paid on Friday, but now am getting paid on a Tuesday. I budgeted my last paycheck from that Friday to this coming Friday. And I just found out earlier today that that's not happening because they fucked up, because they didn't put the things in place. Also, they didn't have a sort of regimen where they put notifications in place to remind anybody who is a contractor to file their invoices in a timely manner so that they could get paid in the Friday slot that they should be paid, which is the thing that was agreed upon. By the time this episode comes out, I will find out whether I either A, am no longer contracted with this organization, or B, and arguably now the worst outcome, I am a permanent employee with this organization. I'm not going to say the name of the place, and I'm not going to put them on blast directly. I will just speak generally for any small company, any startup, any sort of organization. Get your HR shit in place. Get your HR shit in place. Fix the fucking toilets. That's all you have to fucking do. Everything will fall into place. The economics will fall into place. The leadership will fall into place. The fucking organization that will start off holistic and then ultimately over time be built over capitalism, and then you ultimately end up cutting costs and cutting your entire customer service department and shipping it overseas and then paying them pennies while you could be paying in-house people a livable wage to do the actual triaging shit. Either way, get your shit together on an HR fucking level. That's all you have to do. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. Last thing I will say, to anybody who is holding ill will to any friend who is making active gestures over the course of 4 fucking years to make up for a wrong that they did or try to mend a broken friendship. Anybody who is still holding ill will over a long period of time over some shit, go fuck yourself. Go fuck your fucking self. All right? Like, the initial betrayal, the initial hurt, the initial pain, absolutely validated. The initial person who wronged you absolutely should be accountable. If they spend the next 4 fucking years not whole time apologizing, but initially apologizing, recognizing what they did wrong, taking accountability, and spending the next 4 fucking years trying to rebuild what was damaged and is given nothing in return but a fucking, like, arm's length bullshit? Fuck you. So, fuck off entirely. And that's everything that's making us big mad.
If you know, you know.
That's not the big mad thing.
Oh, bro.
That's also not the big thing. I'm just doing this because I like the eardrops.
Bring it. What?
But we don't like to dwell on the things that are making us mad because we are a myriad of a prism of a happy sunshine rainbow. No, we're not a monolith. We feel things in our entirety, and we are also filled with joy. This is why we're going to talk about things that are making us happy.
What's
Odie,
making you
what
happy
is-
this week?
What is making me happy? Honestly, doing this podcast with you. Having, honestly, somewhat of a bit of a recording break because, like I said, the next few weeks of Wednesday and Friday episodes are just going to be bonus episodes. And then we're getting ready for our 200th episode. And that's what's making me happy.
I love that.
200th episode, doing this podcast with you, and incoming money from an incompetent company. And also, again, by the time this is dropped, by the time this is released, I will know if I either will have dodged a bullet and not be a part of a incompetent organization, or because of desperate hard times, I will be a part of a incompetent organization. We shall see. But at the very least, I will know, and I won't have to do that ambiguous bullshit of things are coming and I'll be able to share information. I'll be able to have definitive things to share with the podcast, and I'll have definitive plans to put into place to deal with the workflow of the podcast. What's making you happy?
Okay, number one, we just my friends and I just had a little sprinkle for one of my best friends who's having a little baby. She has my first baby, El Bebe, and now she's having another one.
This is the JoJo's to be continued. So, you know, when you have a second baby,
It's to be continued.
exactly.
And getting to spend time with our friends Danny and Keith. Always a joy. So So that was really fun. Going to First Saturdays at the Brooklyn Museum. Again, very fun, and all the shenanigans that came afterwards.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
He's talking about himself. Anyway.
I'm not. I'm talking about
Anyway.
not myself.
So, the next thing that is making me happy, I got some good news in regards to job stuff this week. So I've actually gotten a few different interesting things that could possibly be coming through, which is very necessary.
Fingers crossed.
Very needed.
Fingers crossed.
And I'm just hoping that, I'm manifesting this new job
Fingers crossed.
with benefits and a large paycheck and all the great things that are necessary in a space that I can be myself and thrive and do all the things that bring me joy.
Oh my goodness!
But of course, the thing that makes me most happy is doing this podcast with you, getting to spend time with you, and getting to be close to 200 episodes
Nani?
Of this podcast, because it is very important to me. You are very important to me, and I am so amazed to see how this little idea that we had has grown into everything it is now. So that's what's making me happy this week.
Well, you know what? I'm super happy that you were able to get those things in place and do the damn thing. Well, honestly, if that's everything, then I think that's everything. Oh, wait, no, that's everything that's making us happy, by the way. Well, honestly, if that's everything, that's everything. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. You can support the show by shopping our shirts and our sticker sheets or leaving a contribution in the tip jar.
Everything is available at the QR code, including the merch shop, the tip jar, episodes, and all of our social media pages.
This has been the Black and Snurdy podcast. Until next time, and the next time will be a bonus episode, and then 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 a bunch of bonus episodes until we get to our 200th episode. And we will tell y'all when the 200th episode is coming. It will be on a Friday. You'll know it because we'll promote it. But until next time, take it easy, keep it sleazy. Bye.
Thanks for listening, nerds.
Keep the show growing. Listen, comment, and download on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or watch full episodes on YouTube.
Follow the show at Black and Snurdy.
Follow me at Licorice is Legit.
Find me at that'sod_e on Twitter and at that'sod.e on Instagram.
This is the Black and Snurdy podcast,
where nerds of a feather flock together.